Bucs, go Bucs. Go Bucs, go Bucs. Go Bucs, go Bucs. Go Bucs, go Bucs. First and goal, we gotta tough it out. Get in the end zone and call a hot route. O-line to beat, Mike bang the streak and have Humphreys run right underneath. You know it's Bucs ball, we got the hardest D. Bring the pressure to the QB, you know it's routine. We got hard grease. Welcome to Tampa, welcome to Germany. Go Bucs, go Bucs. Reppin' for my team. Go Bucs, go Bucs. You know we want the ring. Go Bucs, go Bucs. Welcome to the Bay. Go Bucs, go Bucs. Tune in with Buccaneer Blake. Doug's back, we can run and toss. Mike Evans looking like Randy Moss. And Jameis make the play after play. On the defense, you can't stop Levante. On my boy McCoy, who you can't avoid. At the Raymond James, you about to feel the pain. If you a Bucs fan, make a lot of noise. If you a Bucs fan, make a lot of noise. Go Bucs.
3, 2, 1. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to BUCnBLAKE Sports with your host, Mr. Buccaneer Blake himself. Putting out my weekly, Buccaneer news and all that. Like I said, it's dry this time of year, and it's late in the night when I can focus and concentrate with no distractions around to give y'all my opinions on stuff going on in the league with the Bucs and all that type of hoopla. So, hope you got your coffee ready, because probably most of y'all gonna see this in the morning. And let me put this out. So first off, you can find all the show on my Buccaneer Blake shows on YouTube under BUCnBLAKE Sports, or Buccaneer Blake on YouTube, www.BUCnBLAKEsports.com, BUCnBLAKE Sports at IG, BUCnBLAKE at Twitter, BUCnBLAKE Sports at Snapchat. All those things are there. I'm always trying to do stuff, get involved, charity. Probably gonna be down there for mini camp and stuff, so I'll check out with live videos of camp and position battles I'm gonna focus on and stuff like that, and get your opinions on arguable conversations, stuff like that. It's fun to have different opinions and battle back and forth about stuff like that. I know you guys like my mural. It was a graduation gift to me. It takes up the entire wall of the Buccaneer Stadium. I can actually see my seats. 147 right here. Crystal, you up here somewhere. You moving down, but 147 stand up. Well, let's go. Let's start off with the top here. My notes. There's two people in camp that's been looking really good right now. Ronald Jones, been looking great in camp. He said he's fearless, pass blocking, catching, doing everything he needs to do. That's kind of what you got to do when you first step on the scene anyway. When you step on a new roster, you kind of got to establish yourself and show people that you're not taking things for granted. You're here to put in work. And that's the thing about finding players to draft. You got to find players that aren't your expectations when you come in this league have to be more than just making it. Because if your only goal was to just make it, then that's it. That's where you stop at. That's where you've peaked at. You've gotten drafted, and you're just gonna do mediocre work until you get washed out the league, or get lucky, or bounce around and do subpar things for the league, and get washed out the league. But you gotta find players whose expectations and goals are above just being drafted. You can't just say, I want to get to the NFL. I want to get to the NFL. I made it. I'm done. You want to be beyond that. You want to be the greatest you can be. There's nothing. You can't be dissatisfied or disappointed if you gave 110% and you failed. There's nothing wrong with that. You gave all the effort needed, and it wasn't enough. That's all you can do, and you can live with that. Another player that's been showing out, and he's been hanging around the team, and I like these guys to stick around and continue to work, but it's BoBo Wilson. Winston wanted to call him the second coming of Antonio Brown. We'll see. Antonio Brown wasn't a player most people knew about. His father played arena football, and he worked for what he got. And I can only admire things like that. And I just hope we could build a structure and a continuity with the Buccaneers, like the Steelers and the Packers and things like that. And that's why I say, us as fans, we have our own part to play in this. And people want to play for people who stand behind them and all that. Granted, there's a business side to the thing, but that's out of our control. Our only thing that we control is us putting butts in the seats and supporting the team when they're trying to do their best. Are they gonna win every game? No. They're gonna lose some games? Yeah. Sometimes you get calls, sometimes you don't get calls, and it can determine the game. It's stand by your team, man. Stand by them. But yeah, those two players are doing great right now in camp. Hope we continue that. This is the part I always worry about the most, more than the season. Why? Because I'm always scared that people get hurt in off season. All this running around, hitting, rubbing, and then preseason. I don't care about preseason scores. I just like guys to get reps and get the feel and don't get injured. And if we lose 35-0 and nobody gets injured, I am happy. I'm not gonna go, oh my god, they lost a preseason game. Oh, what are we gonna do? Oh, just like they did for Winston. Every preseason game was so critical. Every pass, everything he did, and that's kind of why he feels like he's got to put so much pressure on himself, because from day one everything has been over exemplified and magnified from what he does. When he has to relax, you can't do everything. Player protests. Here's a good one. Player protests. I'm gonna start with the first part of it. Player protests about the teams or the players that are not gonna come out during the national anthem. So you're not on TV sitting down or whatever, doing that, or then come out the locker room. A lot of people have mixed feelings about that. The United States is the land of the free, in your opinion and all that. I mean, it's peaceful. Nobody's argumentative. Nobody's going out there bashing anything about it. It's been pretty quiet unless they're asked questions about it. I didn't know that. I thought Tebow was kneeling for as a religious reason. I didn't know he was protesting abortion in the country. He said he can't support a flag that supports abortion. But that's his opinion. He actually said flag. That's just what it is. That's what I've heard lately. I don't know how much true that is, but I didn't know that. Like I said, I'm not going to sit up here and act like I know everything. I don't. That just shows how much pay attention to Tim Tebow and stuff like that. And it's just, people are going to argue about it. At least stand by the reason to argue. Don't jump on an argument like that and then you had no idea what's going on or the facts behind it or the research. And I'm not going to be one of those guys. I'm going to figure out what's going on before I base my opinion and say stuff without even knowing what's going on with the whole situation with that. And like I said, this protest, I think hopefully it's going to be worked out by the preseason. I will say this, with being what I learned about Tebow, if that is true, why is Kaepernick and Eric Reed being blackballed by the NFL, not getting picked up by teams for the simple fact for peaceful protest? You're not going out there bashing the league, bashing anybody or that. Why are they being blackballed by the league? Because I know what happens. All the owners talk. They all talk. The owners run the league. The commissioner, I don't know if a lot of you guys know this, the commissioner is paid by the owners. That's where Goodell gets his check from, is the owners. And that's why I kind of always think it's kind of almost a conflict of interest, that you have to penalize your boss, essentially speaking. They're the ones that write your check, your boss, and penalize them for Deflategate, violations of talking between players and coaches, on suspensions and things like that. It's weird and tangible. It's the NFL, I guess. I mean, I know quite a bit. I've learned from friends and talking to players on the side and stuff like that, but some of it I'm not gonna know it all. But it's interesting, man. But yeah, I think it's wrong that Kevin Reed can't find a job for something as that. But you got people like Richie Incognito that found employment. Even Josh Gordon with multiple failing marijuana, and guys who obviously don't take things seriously. Randy Gregory's and stuff like that. Well, he might get washed out the league. I could probably find better examples if I think more into it. The point of what I'm trying to say is you're getting rid of guys that aren't doing anything violent, hurting the image of the league or anything like that, and they're being blackballed because of it. And it's just a long conversation. about things. And I'm trying not to promote negativity. If you know me, I try to bring positive vibes. I talk a lot of trash and for smack talk and things like that. And it's just too much negativity that gets magnified now in this world, and there's not enough positivity going on. That's not looked at, that's overlooked for negativity. But let me know what y'all think about that whole Kaepernick and Eric Reed being blackballed by the league, not finding jobs, while you watch other people like what was the boy from the Panthers that the domestic violence, and then the Dallas Cowboys picked him up. It's just horrible that he can find employment, but Kaepernick can't. I'm just not gonna get into that. Here's my other topic: is AP a good or a bad thing for the Buccaneers? Is it good or bad? I personally like AP, so I would like to see him on the roster. He's not what he was, but we don't really have any veteran leadership on this team. Peyton Barber and Chris Sims would be our running back leadership on this team. As our running backs right now are Barber, Sims, and Ronald Jones, and that guy we picked up from the Colts. Unless we picked up some other undrafted players, but that's our backfield. Adrian Peterson would be a nice veteran addition to this roster, being how young it is, very young, and you can sub players in and out in packages and stuff like that. Peterson can be majority of the workhorse as well, but it'd be interesting. It all comes about price, and from what my sources earlier, I found out he's gonna sign with the Packers probably. But that's interesting too, because the Packers don't really run the ball. They're pretty much a spread team. We'll see how that goes. It's pretty much the asking price. If the asking price is right, Bucs might make a move on him if he wants to be here. I know him and Winston have pretty good continuity together, so we'll see. Chris Godwin, should Chris Godwin be a starter? Do you think he should start over, I ain't gonna say Mike Evans or Deshaun Jackson? Should Deshaun Jackson come out the slot? I think Deshaun will get a lot more mismatches coming out the slot, and he'll have to be asked, to run block on most plays. Chris Godwin could do that. The wide receiver core, man, is pretty maxed out right now. You add the new kid, Evans, Godwin, Jackson, the two tight ends, Humphreys, and then you add BoBo Wilson and the new kid from Penn. There's a lot of mouths to feed there in the receiving core, and that's gonna be interesting. And Cutter's got to figure out ways to get these guys the ball and figure out rotations and formations and strengths and weaknesses of these guys. Just use them to their strength is what all I ask. You don't have to do too much. You don't have to force them to be anything more than what they are. Use them to their strengths and take advantage of gameplay situations, gameplay opening chances that you get. And that's all you got to do, Cutter. Like I said, we talked about this, I think, last week. I'm not an NFL coach, and I don't know everything, and I don't have all the access to videos. And well, actually, yeah, I do have a lot of coaches can stuff, but it's not, before game and stuff like that, and make my own game plan for stuff. But they have to make their own game plans and call the right plays at the key situations, and sometimes roll the dice and see where you're at. And like I said, it's not a whole lot to talk about this time in the off season. I try to find the best topics that I can when the opportunities arise to bring to you guys week to week, and try to keep you entertained by the stuff I'm saying. A lot of more stuff. I have a lot more stuff going on with training camp coming along, so I can see the camp battles and the situational battles with the offensive line, J.R. Sweezy injury and things like that, Damar Dotson and Kappa situation, and see how that's going. And pretty much on the cornerback battle, I'm glad to say that finally we got some secondary players, and we finally addressed the situations that we needed to address, and we can move forward from that and start building. It's really good to hear that. And we can keep building on the defensive line. Like the Bucs did a lot of good things this offseason. Did a lot of good things. Patched up the old line with the draft pick, with the free agents, with a free agent. Secondary brought back Grimes, drafted 2 corners. Safety we were already deep at. We can still get better, but it wasn't an important situation at the moment when you already had, people that could play the position at that moment. It wasn't a dire need. Corner was a dire need very badly, along with defensive line. Coach Tony Dungy going in the Ring of Honor. I talked about that. Help changing the culture in this team. I kind of got to get back to it. Got to find another like Dungy type guy. Hopefully Cutter can be that guy. And be a fighter, scrappy, and turn and motivate young minds and old minds to change the mindset here in Tampa Bay and block out the distractions that the Bay brings. There's a lot of distractions here in Florida, and I can see why players get caught up, especially when you're young men and stuff like that. Like I said, bringing back Julius Peppers as an older player now, where he doesn't get quite caught up in all the activities here in Florida and the foolishness, and all the people that'll put you in harm's way just to be in your presence. There's a lot of people out here. It's kind of like with Josh Freeman retiring from the CFL. I know a lot of you guys don't care much more about Josh Freeman. Josh Freeman's career kind of hurt me. Me and Josh Freeman, we used to talk a lot, played a couple video games online together and stuff like that, and it was fun while he was here. We had a group of young guys, and we didn't really have a whole lot of athletes here. I mean, he won 9 games. It should have been 10. We should have been 10-6 and made the playoffs we got screwed against the Lions, calling Kellen Winslow for an offensive pass interference penalty, went in the league the very next day, apologized for the poor call. It should have been a defensive pass interference because the defender was holding his arms. Yes, I have many details because we got screwed that game. But we had good times here with him, LeGarrette Blount and stuff like that. We get the right pieces, but we don't keep it around. And Josh got caught up in the Florida nightlife, being a young superstar, and people getting involved in his life, and that didn't see his best interests. And then getting a coach in here who had a vindictive schedule and all the vindictive plan to get him out of here, to bring in Mike Glennon, the guy he wanted after college. It was just a lot of negative energy in this town around that time, and a lot of it was self-driven among players versus coaching staff. Like Schiano, I have a lot of negative things to say, but the players did a lot to themselves. I mean, when you're out there and it's a business and you get no act right from the coach, and you don't see him really caring. I'll say that because I'm speaking as a player. You don't see him, caring, wanting you to do a military type thing, and not making the game fun. You'll come to work and just do what is asked of you and not do more, and the team suffered for it. That's why the season turned out the way it was. Once all the chips fell down and people got to learn how Schiano was, and you got rid of Michael Bennett and you kept guys, yes men, that just wanted to be on the roster, and they'll do what you ask simply because they'll do what you ask, and you let talent walk away. I mean, I can get why that happens. Bennett probably wasn't going to listen to him, and Daniel T.N.S.M. was. The late Daniel T.N.S.M., he died, I think, this year in 2018. Like I said, I was having a conversation with Kimberly Smith. Kim, if you're watching this, is what I'm talking about. And there's a lot of things that you guys don't know that goes on. Like I said, these guys got their own lives, and it's a job for them. They call it work. If you ever talk to them, they say, "Oh yeah, I know him from work," because it's not fun anymore. It's not college football. It's not what it was. And there's just a whole bunch of guys can't even go out without being criticized. People say, "Oh well, he's a millionaire. You can just party at home." Like really? You're gonna be 24 years old. You're just gonna sit at home like you're 40 with kids? Really? And somebody could just record, and it's just how dumb people are. You just record anything and then just believe it. Oh yeah, he's doing this. Like Vernon Hargreaves with the damn smoke. It's probably a cigar or something. Look, go ahead and piss test him then. Get this conversation over with. So when it comes back negative, if you can tell that's marijuana smoke just from looking at a 15-second, 10-second video, then you the man. Then you don't need to be in that kind of work. You need to be doing something. It's like saving the country or something like that. If you're that good, like I said, yeah. If it comes up positive that he's been smoking weed, then that's on him, man. Like, that's on him. What he does in his personal life, smoke cigars or all that, it don't make no difference to me. I care about them going out there putting in work, playing 110% for us fans that's out there spending their money, sitting in the sun, buying drinks and all that. Expect them to perform at a high level. Sometimes doing drugs. I have family members and stuff like that do drugs. Well, I'm like marijuana, to help deal with the issues, anxiety, sleep, insomnia, and stuff like that. It's just not always a negative thing. But that's their lives. I mean, I can't judge them. I've never been a smoker ever in my life. Never been interested in it, so I can't say what worked for me and what works for somebody else, because we're not the same. And that's just that with that. Josh Freeman officially retires from the CFL, and there were others too, that got involved. What I was talking about with, I'm gonna use lack of focus. I'm not gonna put their names out there. I'm not gonna be that kind of guy to do that. But the stuff I got was very reliable information, too exact. Man, like I said, it's really not much I can go into at this time of year, especially with camp rolling around, and hopefully preseason come up. I can go more into that. I saw we were like ranked I think 15th. We were ranked 15th with that's pretty good. It's above average at NFL with quarterback situation with Ryan Fitzpatrick, Ryan Griffin, and Austin Davis, or Austin something that we picked up, and that's good because we know we got a decent backup that could come in when Winston went down, and Fitzpatrick won a couple of games while Winston's been down. A lot of teams can't do that when their players go out. It's gonna be rough. There's not much more I can really go on about. Of course, go to the website and donate the Dream for Jameis Winston's Dream Forever Foundation. All money, 100% goes to them. Donate it to the website. Whatever I get goes strictly to that. Things I donate to is my church and the charities, and that's pretty much. I don't keep anything. On one, this as we always do. You're the master of everything. What you do with your life, what you do with it, is entirely up to you. Thank you. God bless. Look forward to the new BUCnBLAKE track, 2018 version. The beat's gonna be hot. This one, the other one on the main intro is for sale for 99 cents. If you want to keep it, bump it in your car, whatever you want. I'll pretend it ain't mine if I hear it around you. The 2018 version. Nuke Boy, of course, will be rapping on the track. My brother Jeff Brown will be producing the beat as usual. If you need some beats and stuff like that, some lyrics and stuff, you can talk to Nuke Boy. All the information is on my website. You can hit me personally at BUCnBLAKESports@gmail.com. Again, check out the website, www.BUCnBLAKESports.com. And like I said before, we gotta get out of here. I ain't gonna keep you much longer. It's late in the afternoon, late in the morning. You gotta master everything. What you do with your life, what you do with it, is entirely up to you. Thank you. God bless. And fire those cannons.